Thank you. Now, please stand up. Let's take a seventh inning stretch. What I'd like you to do is take a deep breath, put your stuff down, empty your hands. And what we're going to do is we're going to bring our hands up over our head, which fills our lungs with oxygen and brings up. Okay, go 1, 2, 3. Down. I'll try it again. 1, 2, 3. Down. 1, 2, 3. Now, roll your shoulders. Roll your shoulders. Give yourself a massage. Get the energy flowing. Get the nerves worked out. And then always remember this. When you get nervous, your nerves are like water on your fingertips, and you just shake the nerves off. So shake the tension out. Shake the fatigue out. Just shake your hands. That's right. Just like that. Okay. Please sit down. Thank you very much. That feel good? Well, thank you so much for being here. I have to tell you, listening to Scott and Jerry and Steve and all of the people who have spoken, I want to move to Texas and get into Ambit Energy. I mean, this is an incredible company. Now, people have said, as Terry said, people have said this is a great country. It's a great time, and it is. I was speaking with an economist in Louisiana. You remember Louisiana before they blew away? But I was speaking with an economist, and he said, if ever you want to get a reputation for being a good economist in America, he said, always predict growth. He said, you'll be right 80% of the time. Because the entire history of America has been 80% growth and 20% correction. 80% growth, 20% correction. So even if the world is going to heck in a basket, just say, well, I predict growth. And then the economy will go back up and say, gee, that guy's smart. So always predict growth. And in terms of growth, this is, of course, a recession-proof industry. This is a fabulous industry. What you're doing here and the way that Ambit has built this company is phenomenal. You people are going to have a fabulous future. And by the way, when Chris asked me to come and speak, he said, you'll have to give a good talk because, you'll be speaking to a room full of self-made millionaires. And what I found since I arrived is that everyone in this room is either a self-made millionaire or you intend to be. Is that correct? Now remember one of the great rules is that future intention determines present action. Is the most successful people are the ones who are most clear about where they're going. Because if you're very clear about where you're going, then it's much easier to decide what to do every single step of the way. So the fact that you have decided to become self-made millionaires is the most important decision of all. I did a program some years ago called Getting Rich in America, and I studied the subject for years. And I said, why is it that people don't get rich? We have the highest level of self-made millionaires in the history of the world. We have 9.6 million millionaires in America today, almost all of them self-made, almost all of them started without a you-know-what to you-know-what in or a window to throw it out of, and became millionaires in one generation. So why is it that so few people do it? And the answer I came up with was because they never decide to. And Chris has been talking about this. They never decide to. They say, I want to, and I wish I could, and I want to be financially independent, and I want to make a lot of money, but they don't make a by-gum do-or-die decision that I'm going to do what is necessary to become financially independent. I'm first of all going to generate a high level of income, and then I'm going to hold on to it. Sorry I had to mention that. But the holding on to it is really important. So this is a great time to be alive. How many people here would like to double their income? If I can show you how to do it, will you give it a try? Yeah. All right. Well, I have some good news for you. Everybody here is going to double their income. Steve said that I'm an economist by application. Well, I've done my economic studies. I know what Terry's work is. Everybody's going to double their income if you live long enough. That's right. Average income in America goes up at about 3% a year. So if you live and work for the next 22 years with compound interest, you will? Is that what you had in mind? No. When do you want to do it? Now. Good answer. Well, let me show you. I brought a consultant into my company some years ago, and all he left me with was this crummy graph and a bill for several $1,000s. And yet it was worth the price of admission. And this graph is the graph of income and financial success over life. And this is one of the most important things. And what I did is he explained it to me with regard to my company. What I've done is I've changed it and explained to you with regard to Ambit. Is everybody starts off at zero, and this is the amount of money that you earn in the course of your lifetime. Now, here's the first thing. We find that some people earn $10,000 a year and $20,000 a year and 50 and 100, 150 and so on, 250 and so on. Well, the first thing that occurred to me and the first thing I learned is that where you are and what you are on this graph is largely determined by yourself. You are earning the amount that you have decided to earn. Now, when I first heard that, I was really resentful. I said, that's not true. That's not true. It's my boss that determines my income, and it's the economy, it's the market, it's George Bush. I mean, it's all these external factors. I said, finally realized, no, it's me, O Lord, standing in the need of prayer. You and I determine our own income by the things that we do and by the things that we fail to do. And the things that we fail to do are often the things that cost us more than anything else. But we're where we are and what we are because we have decided to be there. Almost as if you went into a restaurant and they brought you a menu, and on the menu it had incomes. And somebody said, well, I'll have $50,000 a year. And someone says, well, I'll have $10,000 a week. And someone says, I'll have $1 million a year. And someone says, I'll have $40,000 a year. And the waiter just brings you what you ordered. And people say, well, it can't be that simple. It's the things we do and the things that we fail to do. And one of the most important things that we need to do is make a decision to increase our income and then to do the things that are necessary. We'll talk about this in just a second. Well, this is the graph, and by the way, you can show this to the people that you want to get involved with Ambit Energy with just a couple of modifications. This is the graph of time, and this is the amount that you end up with at the end of your life, as Terry was talking about. Well, what happens is we all start off earning something, and then our financial life is like a bad month on the NASDAQ. It goes up and down and up and down. We're in the money, out of the money, in the money, out of the money. We're broke again, we're back in the money, broke again, back in the money, employed, unemployed, like this. And over the course of a lifetime, the average person's income goes up at about 3% per year, with experience plus luck, and a lot of luck. Now, as anybody will tell you, it's very hard to beat the averages. It's very hard to beat the average. What is the definition of a job? It's just over broke. Yeah. It's very hard to beat the averages. And so people work very, very hard over the course of the lifetime, but they never break the averages. You know, if a rocket takes off from Cape Canaveral, it has two phases. It has the booster phase, then it has the second phase that goes off into space. The booster phase is about 80 or 90% of the size of the rocket. What's it full of? Fuel. And what's the purpose of the fuel? Is to help the rocket break out of the Earth's gravity. It takes all of that fuel just to get the rocket out of the Earth's gravity so that it can fly through space and all the way to Mars and come back again. It's the same thing in life, is we have to work very, very hard to break the gravity of the 3%. It's almost like it holds us down. And that's why 80% of the population never does it. It's because it takes tremendous effort to break out of the rut that we're in. And so I just read this yesterday. It's not even funny, but it said during the days of the wagon trains, it said at St. Joe, Missouri, it said when the wagon trains set off, there'd be a sign saying, pick your rut carefully because you're going to be in it for the next 20 years, you know. And picking your rut carefully is important. Well, let's say this is very much like driving on the back roads. So imagine that you get lost off the main roads and you're driving on the farm roads, only there's one difficulty. There's no road signs and there's no road maps. So if you're lost on the farm roads with no road signs and no road maps, you'll never get anywhere. You'll always be lost. You go north, south, east, and west, but each time you come to a crossroads, you won't know which way to go. This is how most people live their lives. And let's say you've been doing this for years and years, and you say to your honey, this is a lousy way to live. We got too much month at the end of the money. What can we do? And she said, well, every so often through the trees, I see a freeway. And cars are just whipping along that freeway. If we could just get off these terrible back roads and get onto that freeway, we could really make a lot of progress toward our goals. And this is where we get with knowledge plus skill plus Ambit. Is we get onto what I call the high road of life. Now, this is really important to understand. Most people are on the low road, and your job is to get onto the high road. Now, it's an interesting point because people on the high road increase their incomes at 10% to 25% per year or more, which means that if you want to double your income, if your income goes up at 25% per year, you'll double it every 2 years and 7 months. Of course, you've heard enough stories here today to think that's peanuts, but it ain't bad. Your ambitions are much higher. Now, once you get onto this road, and away you go, you put your pedal to the metal, and you make an enormous amount of progress in a short period of time. Now, there's another thing about this road, and it's very much like the Autobahn in Germany. What do we know about the Autobahn in Germany? No speed limit. All men love that. All men love that. Anyway, and I've been on the Autobahn where